Good morning everybody and welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining me and thank you for coming out with me today on a fairly typical morning in the Pacific Northwest. We've got a lot of rain. It's pretty dark, it's pretty cold. Some would consider it pretty miserable, but sometimes that makes for the best photography conditions. So today we're going to be exploring a little part of a trail that I've never been on before that takes us through some more of my local woodlands. And we're just going to keep our eyes out for anything that would make an interesting composition to photograph. You know, these days where everything feels a little bit muted, a little muddy, a little things just lack definition due to the lack of light. But that's not going to stop us from getting out, because any day that you're out with a camera is better than a day where you're sitting at home on the couch, no matter the weather. So let's get packed up and get on the trail. So as I was hiking, I noticed this grove of trees off to my right, and it really caught my eye. It's beautiful. It's exactly the kind of thing I love on a day like today. You know, the conditions are very muted, very gray and muddy, but the trunks of these trees are so stark white that they really stand in a harsh kind of contrast to the overall environment. And that's what prompted me to stop and set everything up to make a photograph. There's this nice, big, beautiful grove of trees, and I'm punching in right on the center where a lot of them overlap. I just love using these trees as kind of an abstract element to this image, where we're not going to show the whole tree, we're not going to show the whole background, but the detail and the color and the contrast in these trunks is just awesome. It's beautiful. So just to walk you through the settings, we're on 1/4 of a second, f8, and an ISO of 64. You can see my histogram is pretty spread, but everything's safe. And then we're gonna make sure our delay is on for 2 seconds. And again, that's just so that when I press the shutter release, I have time to move my hand off the camera and for any vibrations to stop before the image is actually captured. Now, there's something I can't recommend enough, is using your phone for the perfect photography scouting tool. When you're out hiking, if you don't have your camera, or if you're not ready to take it out and maybe the season's not right or the weather's not right, but you see something that could make a really interesting composition, snap a picture of it with your phone. It geotags it, so you know exactly where the location was, and you can come back in the spring or the fall, and when the weather is different, maybe it's, you know, we get a lot more like clear morning light, or there's a deep fog or something like that. In fact, that's what I just did. I have this grove of trees here that is very interesting by itself, but I don't know if it makes for a great photograph right now. So I took a picture of it. I'm gonna have it stored on my phone, and then when I'm looking for locations to come and shoot during the spring and summer, I'm definitely gonna come back here and I'll know right where it is and try to make a photo out of it. So yeah. That's all I have to say on that subject. So as I was hiking up this trail, the mist started to roll in, which is definitely one of the big pluses for a day like today. Even though the weather isn't great, the mist is amazing. It has this strange ethereal effect on the entire environment, and it really separates different elements of a composition. So like right now I'm setting up to shoot these trees down below me, and they stand out so well because the mist and fog is so thick behind them. And I think it just looks incredible. It's absolutely stunning. I'm trying to move kind of quick, and the biggest reason for that is because the separation provided by this mist that's rolled in won't last. It'll roll out again, and this compositional change, and I want to try to photograph it before it does. Sometimes you can't beat it, but I'm gonna sure try. The top of the image is very, very bright, and the bottom is, well, very dark. That's just because I'm shooting down into a valley, so I get all the light, you know, coming from the sky in the top half of the frame, and then down below, not a lot of light penetrates, so it's very dark. So I want to try to even that out with a graduated filter. And if anybody's curious or doesn't know what that looks like, here, this is a graduated ND filter, so you can see it's tinted at the top and gradually not tinted at the bottom. Very scientific way to explain a graduated ND filter. So the filter holder goes on, and then our graduated filter goes on just like that. And then I can slide this up and down depending on how much intensity of light I want to take out of which part of the frame. I'm liking that. 1/6 of a second, f8, ISO 64. Focus is sharp. And just like that, the mist is gone, rolled on to some different part of the valley. But that's the thing that's so unique and wonderful about this type of photography, is that it's fleeting. Things come and go, elements drift in and drift out, and you have to be in the right spot at the right time to capture them in the right way. All right, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Feeling good about that photo. Feeling good about today. I think I'm gonna pack up and head back down the mountain, and there's one more spot I want to stop on the way out of here that I passed on the way in. It's like a roadside kind of, I call them drive-by compositions, where it's like you're driving down a road and out of the corner of your eye you see something, like some element of something, like a little waterfall or an interesting tree that piques your interest, and you look to the side just for a second, and in your mind it looks like this incredible composition that you have to go back to and photograph. But I'd say 8 times out of 10 you go back and it's not what you thought it was. It's your imagination's playing tricks on you. But saw one of those coming in, so we're gonna check it out on the way out, and maybe it'll be something, maybe it won't, but you and I will find out together. So across the street is where I always envisioned this composition to be shot from. And I set up over there and I was playing around with it, but I just couldn't really see it. I couldn't, like, I took a couple of test shots, but I wasn't really that happy with it. And one of the big reasons is because there's this tree that one of the limbs broke and it's hanging down in front of the waterfall. And from over there, it kind of looked like just a distraction. But from here, I don't know. I kind of figured, like, instead of just packing it in and saying like, oh, I tried and it's no good, maybe I'll just embrace it. So that's what I'm doing. I'm using it as the central focus to this composition. I have a 3-stop ND filter, a circular polarizer on there to take a lot of glare out of the water and the wet rock. Shooting this at 13 seconds f8 at ISO 64. And I'm envisioning this as a square crop. We'll see what happens. And here we go. All right, everybody, that's about it for me today. As always, thank you for watching the video. Thank you for coming along with me. I hope you liked the photos, and I hope you enjoyed the day out. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, away from the mosquitoes, and dry all the gear out and everything like that. Probably get some lunch. So yeah, that's it. Thanks again, and until next time, take care.